Have you ever heard the story of a World War II battle where American soldiers fought other American soldiers? Not over strategy, not over the enemy, but over racism. Follow if you've never heard this story, because on June 24, 1943, in the quiet English village of Bamber Bridge, the U.S. Army turned its weapons on itself. And the reason was segregation. The American racism Britain refused. During World War II, thousands of black American soldiers were stationed in Britain. Many belonged to the 1,511th Quartermaster Truck Regiment. Their job was essential, driving fuel, ammunition, and supplies across Britain to support Allied forces preparing for the invasion of Europe. But the U.S. Army had brought something with it overseas: Jim Crow. American commanders demanded that British towns segregate their bars and clubs. Separate entrances, separate seating, separate treatment. But the British locals in Bamber Bridge refused. Instead, pub owners did something extraordinary. Some reportedly placed signs that read, "Black troops only," not as exclusion, but as solidarity. For the first time in many soldiers' lives, black American servicemen were treated like equals in public, and that made some white American officers furious. The night everything exploded. On the night of June 24, 1943, white American military police entered a local pub demanding that the black soldiers leave. An argument erupted. Soon fists were thrown. The situation escalated quickly. Then a white MP drew his weapon. During the chaos, Private William Crossland, a black soldier, was shot in the back and killed. Word spread through the barracks. Anger exploded. Black soldiers armed themselves. White MPs returned with reinforcements. For nearly 5 hours, gunfire echoed through the village streets. More than 400 rounds were fired. American troops shooting at American troops, while British civilians watched in shock. The aftermath. When the shooting stopped, the Army needed someone to blame, but it wasn't the white military police who had fired first. Instead, 28 black soldiers were charged and convicted of mutiny. No white MPs were prosecuted. The official narrative blamed the black soldiers. But inside the military, some leaders knew the truth. Air Force General Ira C. Eaker later pointed directly at the cause. Racist white officers and segregation policies had created the conditions for the violence. Yet the story was largely buried and censored for decades because it revealed an uncomfortable truth. Even while fighting fascism overseas, America was still fighting racism within its own ranks, the truth that survived. Today, historians call the event the Battle of Bamber Bridge, a moment when British civilians stood against segregation, and black American soldiers refused to accept humiliation in uniform. It remains one of the most extraordinary and least known chapters of World War II history, a reminder that the fight for freedom abroad often mirrored the fight for justice at home. Subscribe and comment Bamber Bridge if you'd like to hear more about the soldiers who challenged racism in the U.S. military, and go to my videos to see more in-depth hidden black stories. We don't glorify injustice. We reveal truth, so history can't repeat itself.